Hi, boys. What's up? Playoff scenarios. Dynasty Season 4. We're going to do this relatively quickly. I got other shit I got to do. But yeah, let's see how fast I could do this. Current rankings of relevant teams. So here are your current rankings, updated points for. As you can see, they wanted a specific mention. I'm going to mention them now. Danny Taub have 2 wins, so they're completely irrelevant in this situation. There you go. You're in the presentation. You happy now? Yeah. So notable things to point out. Top 3 is wild because Vic has the least points, but the most wins. Mash has the most points, but same amount of wins as Kurtz. So there's going to be heavy tiebreak implications between Victor and Kurtz. Marsesh has just too many points. Next, we got Ovi. It's at 8 and 5. We'll see later that he's not going to change his position. Congratulations, Ovi. You clinched 4. Me and Ted, same wins, not a lot of points. Me, almost 0 points. I'm pretty much have the same amount as Max, but I have that 1 extra win. Thank you, Lawrence Kurtz. But yeah, so Mike has the most points in that bottom 5. Not that much more than Ted. Also, not that much more than Madelon. Like we in a very low scoring me and Mike game, you could have implications there. But also, we will see that there are opportunities for potential 3-way tiebreaks between Ted, Mike, and Matt, which could pretty much go any way depending on how the games go. These are your matchups. I'm playing Mike, Matt's playing Ted. All those between 5 and 8 games. Ovi's playing Kurtz, Vic's playing Mash. Those are the 1 to 4 games. I couldn't decide whether this was better or worse for the playoff scenarios, because in one case it's like those top 4 and the bottom 4, or the next 4, top 4 and the next 4 have the same, like they're completely independent events, versus like if let's say Ted was playing Vic, then that Ted win would result in a Vic loss, which would change all 8 at the same time. This just changes all 4, but separately. But we'll see how that gets complicated. Next, interesting notes. Top 4 will not change next week. The top 4 teams will stay the top 4 teams. In fact, the top 3 teams will stay the top 3 teams, because Ovi, there we go, in the blue, will be in 4th place. No matter what, assuming that certain points, we're going to get to that, and also the 5 to 8 teams will be playing each other, and those rankings will stay the same, assuming Max does not outscore me by, like, I think 3 and win. So Max has to outscore me and win, and I have to lose. Then Max will jump into that 5 to 8, but he won't make playoff. We'll see that. We're getting to that. That's hold your horses. There's 8 teams, but only 1 position is decided. So that's because Ovi's in 4th. Other than that, anything could happen within the top 4, and anything could happen within the next 4. The top 3 teams can be in any order, so there's 6 different seedings, because they could have any of them become the top seed, and then any of the 2 remaining would be the 2 seed, and then that last one would have to be the 1 seed. So that's 3 times 2, 6. Then that's 3 different 1 seeds and 3 different 3 seeds. Okay, the 5 to 8 teams can be in any order. True. Almost true. We'll see. Don't worry, we'll see. Okay. So arrangements of the top 8 as of right now, possible arrangements, there are 144. So yeah, don't worry, there's way less than that amount of slides. Some overlaps, but not much. We'll see. We do it in 2 different blocks. Next is there's 36 different week 15 matchups, so that's only counting what the rankings would be between the 3 to the 6, right? Usually it would be even less. This is like an interesting case, because I think last year we had a case where it was the same week 15 matchups, but one of them was the 3-4, and like I think it was either Vic could have either been in the 3 playing the 4, or Vic could have been in the 3 playing the 6, or Vic could have been in the 4 playing the 3, and it would have been the same matchups. But this year it's totally different, because Ovi's in 4th no matter what. So Ovi's always going to be playing the 5 seed, He'll never be in the 3 seed playing the 6 seed. Nice. Different buys combinations is 6 because it's a 1-2. Next. Oh, let's go back first. No, I can't go back because I'm recording on PowerPoint. Yeah, so let's jump in top 4. If Ovi and Vic win, these are your rankings. Why? Because Mesh right now has a massive tiebreak. Massive. More than 100 points. We'll talk about this later. If you have more than 100-point tiebreak lead, I'm just not even gonna consider it. Ovi has Vic has the most wins by 2 at this case. Mesh and Kurtz at 9 wins. Mesh wins the tiebreak. Ovi's in 4. We'll see. Ovi will always be in 4. Rankings of the top 4 if Kurtz and Mesh win. Everyone has 10 wins. Wow, so exciting. So let's see what happens if Kurtz and Mesh win, and we assume that Vic does not Vic right now does not have enough points to tiebreak Kurtz, and we're assuming he doesn't get there. So take Kurtz's total points 4 or points next week scored, subtract 30.56, and if Vic doesn't beat that, then he stays in 3rd. He's playing the week 3, right? Because Kurtz right now has that 30.56 points lead. Now we're going to assume Vic does have more than Kurtz plus the 30. So like Vic scores 160, Kurtz has 120. Vic jumps into 2, even though they'll both have 10 wins. Mesh stays in the 1st because he has so many fucking points. Next. Now what happens if Ovi and Mesh wins? Well, who cares if Ovi wins? He's in 4. Wrong, because Kurtz won, so he got that win. But Kurtz didn't win. Kurtz loses, so he doesn't get the extra win. Mesh gets the extra win. Vic stays at 10 wins. There you go. 1-2, Vic Mesh. So yeah, Vic, you could lose and still get the 2 seed. You just gotta hope Ovi wins. Vic, you win, you're in 1st. Very obvious. If Kurtz beats Ovi, then he's in 2nd. Because now you're looking at 11 wins, 10 wins, 9 wins, 8 wins. In that order. Nice. Takeaways. Kurtz, sorry, bro. Can't get the 1 seed. It's not gonna happen. So I didn't actually update the earlier slides. Yeah, so there's not 6 different arrangements of the 1-2. The 1-2, there's only 2 possible 1-2s, right? There's 3 possible 1-2s. You could either have Vic and Mesh, you could have Kurtz and Mesh, or you could have Kurtz and Vic. So 3. I don't know if that's what I wrote. Tiebreak only applies to the Kurtz-Vic matchup. Mars Asher, congratulations. Why? Because we're assuming the maximum point range between any 2 teams in the league next week is going to be 100. Obviously, this is an assumption. I did this to make my life easier. But why did you say 100? What is that based on? Significant figures is the real answer. But an even better answer is because in week 8, the maximum points difference, Kurtz had a very solid week, and Vic had an absolute garbage week, or the other way around. I forgot who scored what, but one of them had like 90 points, and the other one had 190. Nice, but week 5, I think this was between Danny Taub and Mars Asher. There was a point difference of like 120 something. Psycho. Why Max ain't sniffing it? Guys, I put you in the slideshow because you gave me shit. Why can't Max make the playoffs? He has 5 wins, right? And you said that there's a bunch of points that we could get. I'll explain it to you. So if Max wants to get playoff consideration, then he needs to get 6 wins. Right now he has 5. So how does he get to 6 wins? Well, if he gets 6 wins, then he could either try to tie break against everyone else, which means that me and Ted both lose, so that everyone between 5 and 9 have 6 wins. In that case, he needs to beat Teddy Beta's point total with 120 points. So he needs to outscore Teddy Beta by 120 points. Yeah, and win. Which, if you're outscoring someone by 120 points, you better fucking win. Nice. So if you're saying, okay, but what about in the assumption? Is there anyone he's close to? Yeah, he's close to me. He's actually within exactly 8 points of me. So if he wants to tiebreak against me, he needs to make sure that I lose. And then if Teddy wins, now he's only competing with, me, because now I have 6 wins. Now Max has 6 wins. But we forgot something. If I lose, that means Michael Goldstein wins. Now Michael Goldstein has 6 wins. So now that Michael Goldstein has 6 wins, he needs to outscore Michael Goldstein by 152.98 points. 152.98 points is almost impossible. So what if we tie? I've solved that also. If Mars Madelon needs to win, then if we tie, because if we tie, then we're both stuck at 5 wins, or I'm stuck at 6 wins, and Mike is stuck at 5 wins, right? But I have the tie break because I tied Mike, so I have 6 wins, but I only have 7 losses with the tie. So now he needs Madelon to win. Hopefully he can beat Madelon in the tie break, because he can't let Ted win because I already have more wins than Ted. So now Madelon and Ted would have the 6 wins with Max, and then he needs to break the tie break with Madelon, who he has another 137 points. So Max, if you want to get in, you either have to hope me and Goldstein tie, and then you outscore Madelon by 137, or that I lose, Mike wins, and you outscore him by 150. In which case, you actually jump into whatever. So then, wait, I guess Matt could tie, and then you just beat both of them. You could jump into fifth. Good luck, Max. Get 300 points, please. Thank you. Why Danny and Taub ain't sniffing it? Let's just look at the stats. So here we have a cycle. So Danny and Taub, they lose games. Since they lose games, that means they don't win games. And since they don't win games, it means they don't have enough points. And since they don't have enough points, that means they lose games. So there you go. That's why they're not going to make playoffs. Very simple. Rankings of the 5 to 8 teams. As of right now, 2 teams with 6 wins, 2 teams with 5 wins. Max also has 5 wins, but we're just excluding him. Ted and Jack win. What happens if me and Ted win? Very simple. We both have 7 wins now. Michael and Matt have 5 wins, and then you should say, oh wait, but then if Max wins in this situation, that means he has 6 wins. That means he'll be in the 7th seed. Congratulations, you're smart. But 7 seeds don't make playoffs. So there you go. Ted, Jack, Mike, Matt. Next, Ted and Mike win. I'm winning in right now. You can see as we keep going, I win, I'm in. I lose, I'm out. So if I lose, Mike just takes my spot. Why? Because he has way more points and he has the same amount of wins. Now if Ted wins, that means that extra win gets in that 7th seed. And Michael Goldstein takes the 6 above me because of the points tiebreak. Mars Madelon does not have enough wins to make playoffs. Now let's say me and Madelon win. Oh, guess what happens? I become the 5 seed. See you in playoffs, Ovi. But that's because I have the most wins. I'm the only one here with 7 wins. Now Ted and Madelon both have 6 wins. Goldstein only has 5. Ted and Madelon are within 28.8 points, and they're playing each other. Wow. So if Matt beats Ted, then there's a chance that Matt beats Ted and outscores him. So Matt, you gotta cover the spread in order to make playoffs. You can't just win. You're not a winning in. You're winning. You're a covering in. 28.8. That's your line. Yeah, that's like, I think that's the same line that the Cowboys are getting this week against the Texans. Something similar. Next. So what happens if Mike, Max, and Madelon win? Well, guess what? Everyone has 6 wins. Over here, you'll see the new rankings, 5, 6, 7, 8, but based on now what they were last week, which is this week, because I'm recording now. But yeah, you'll see that it's just a complete, like the 5 drops to 6, the 6 drops to 8, the 7 goes back up to 1, and then the 8 goes to 7. So it's a mess. Shambles. Okay. We're going to run through this one quickly. Okay. I hope y'all on double speed or something. Let's say Matt and Mike win. Now we're going to say Matt and Mike win. This is going to be true for the whole shebang. So Matt and Mike win. Right now, Ted has the lead. Ted needs 20 more points to beat Mike. So assuming he doesn't get there, Mike stays ahead. Ted right now has 28 points against Matt. We're assuming Matt doesn't get there. Ted stays ahead. Mike has, right now it's covering it. I'm going to move this later. However many points, I think it was 30 something. I'm going to look stupid later. We're assuming Mike stays ahead. Now you have Mike, Ted, Matt, and then Jack. Again, bottom 2 don't make playoffs. Not important. We see a Mike Ted. Now we see a Ted Mike, except now it's different. Now Ted's playing Ovi, Mike's playing the 3 seed. Well, how does this happen? We're assuming that now Michael Goldstein stays ahead of Ted and Mars Madelon. But Matt stays ahead of Mike. This might be wrong. Yeah, this is wrong. Okay, it's okay. There's a better slide later. We're just gonna do that one. So now Matt stays ahead of Mike. We know that Ted stays ahead of Mike also, and we know that Matt does not stay ahead of Ted. Ted stays ahead of Madelon. So that arrow, right? It's not pointing. The opposite of what it's pointing to is those are the people that are holding the tiebreaks against each other. Same thing here. Mike has a tiebreak over Ted, and since Ted does not have a tiebreak over Matt, it drops all the way down to 7. Now they say Matt has all the tiebreaks, right? He has Ted's and he has Mike's. And then between Mike and Ted, Mike has that tiebreak. He has 20 more. Ted doesn't cover. Mike stays ahead. Tiebreak. Next. Matt and Mike, the different colors are whoever stays in that 5 seed, by the way. Pattern, visual language. Matt has all the tie breaks except now Ted covers Mike. Ho ho. Mike, sorry, you won, but you lost. All right, this is a nice summary. Let's say we have this is a net matchup between Ted and Madelon. Let's say it's a nail biter, right? What does a nail biter mean? That means that Ted, right now, he has more points than Madelon, and we'll say that he has more points than Madelon. Because let's say Madelon only wins by 5. So, but Madelon has to win. This is the scenario that Madelon wins, all of them, and also that Michael Goldstein wins. Say he wins, but he has 5, and we'll say that Michael Goldstein somehow is able to beat both of them anyways. They both have pretty shitty games, but it's tight. Michael Goldstein puts up a monster. Even though he already has more points, it doesn't even need to be a monster. It could just be like the same as whoever scored the highest in that game. Michael stays ahead. Now let's say it's a nail biter. It's very close, within 10. But Michael Goldstein somehow gets in between there. He sneaks himself into that tiebreak. Now he's in between Ted and Madelon. And now let's say it's a high-scoring nail biter between Ted and Madelon, and Michael Goldstein just fails miserably. He will not have that points. Okay, now let's say it's a blowout. Mars Madelon is up 50. It's going into Monday night, and Ted realizes it's a Packers bye. That's it. Game over. Now, depending on how much points Mike puts up relative to Madelon and Ted will determine his seeding. So, sorry, Mike. It's not winning in for you. You just got to hope Ted wins, really. That's your answer. Possible matchups. Yeah. Any conceivable matchup between the top 4 teams and any of the next 4 teams is possible. Absolutely wild. Don't think that's ever happened before. Crazy. Full madness. Okay, so now we're just going to look at it. We're going to say, like, okay, instead of saying, like, these are the possible matchups, we're going to say, like, how does Kurtz, Morris, or Victor end up having to play next week at all? Easiest way is that Kurtz loses. He's in 3rd place. He's playing the 6th seed. Right? If he wins and Morris wins, but then he doesn't cover Morris, he doesn't cover Victor, then he's also in 3rd, though. No, wait. And Victor covers him. So if he wins and Victor loses, but Victor has enough points to overtake him, Kurtz, you're also in 3rd. How does Vic take 3rd? Vic, all of these things have to happen. You have to lose, Kurtz has to win, and Kurtz has to outscore you and your 30.5 points that you currently don't have over Kurtz. Mesh, how do you get it to 3rd? Simple. You lose, Kurtz wins, you're in 3rd. Right? Kurtz right now has the same record as you. Vic has 1 more win than you. If you lose to him, now he's going to have 2 more wins than you. Kurtz will only have 1. And you're in 3rd. You and Obi. You get home field advantage, though. It's good. How does the 3 seed matchup? So, you 3 guys before, how do you play one of these guys? Right? Let's say, oh, I'm in the 3. I'm likely going to be in the 3. How do I end up playing Ted? Well, so Ted does not cover, right? Then you have this situation. If Ted doesn't cover, if Michael Goldstein wins, and if Matt happens to outscore Goldstein. So we're assuming Mars Madelon just blows everyone out of the water in this matchup. And, you know, he blows Ted out of the water. Ted loses. And, yeah, Michael Goldstein wins. Right? Why is it important that Michael Goldstein wins? Is because I have to lose, or else I'll be in that 6th seed. Right? And if Ted does cover, Mike still has to win. Yeah. Because Ted loses, and I'm taking that top spot. Right? Very nice. This is a lot more confusing than all the other years. I understand that. So I play the 3 seed. That means I get 4th. If I win and Ted wins, right? Both those have to happen. I don't know why I picked these graphics. Because if Ted wins, he has more points. I win, I'd play the 3 seed as a 6. So who gets the 6 seed? How does Mike get the 6 seed? So if Mike wins, but Madelon outscores him and wins and beats Teddy. Or if Ted wins and Mike wins now, Michael Goldstein's in your 6th seed. How do you play Matt? I like this, very symmetrical. Right? So Mike has to win. Right? Now if Mike wins and Madelon wins and covers, but you know, he doesn't really cover. Like he doesn't cover Mike. He covers Teddy, doesn't cover Mike, so somewhere within that 20-point gap, Mars Madelon resides. Or I could win and then Matt wins and covers. So now I'll have the most wins. Mars Madelon wins and covers Ted, so now blows Ted out. But he also has to, he doesn't have to cover Mike. Mike doesn't have enough wins. Oh, very nice. So now this is just Ovi. Ovi, congratulations. You're the first person since Max and Danny Taleb to get their own slide. Ovi wants to play the 5 seed. How does he play the 5 seed? If the 5 seed is Teddy Beta, that's because Teddy Beta won. Or Teddy Beta lost, but he covered Madelon and he covers Michael Goldstein. So like, let's say Mars Madelon and Teddy have like a 170 to 175 matchup, and Teddy's on the losing end, and Michael Goldstein puts up like a 120, inshallah. Next, how do you play Jack? Ovi. So I have to win, Madelon has to win. Right? Because if I win, I'm in playoffs. And if Madelon wins, that means Ted loses. That means I jump up. Ovi, how do you play Mike? Ovi plays Mike if Mike wins and Madelon wins. This is all have to happen. Mike wins, Madelon wins, but Madelon outscores. Madelon doesn't outscore, right? Because now Mike's in the 5. So yeah, Mike just blows everyone out, and he wins, and Ted loses. And same, very symmetrical. Again, Mars, Madelon, they both have to win. Mike and Madelon have to win, but Madelon blows Mike out of the water. Then you're playing Ovi, so we all thought Madelon was out of it, but this guy, he has honestly a half-decent chance of playing as a 5 seed. I mean, this guy, you guys are forgetting this guy was a semifinal team last year. Good luck, everyone besides Ovi, because he clinched. Long video, hope y'all enjoyed it. Please don't ask me questions.